set up the game of Quarto, first, place the game board in the middle of the playing area. Next, place all of the pieces to the side of the game board, where both players can reach them. While placing the pieces, make sure they are placed with the correct side facing up. If a piece has a hollow center, make sure the hollow part is face up. If it has a solid top, make sure the side with the rounded corners is face up. A good way to tell if all of the pieces are facing the correct direction is to look at the groove carved in each individual piece. If the right side is facing up, the grooves on the pieces will be at the same level. The final step of game setup is to decide which player will start the game. After setting up the game, players are ready to start playing. To start the game of Quarto, the start player will grab any one of the 16 pieces to the side of the game board. They may choose any of the pieces, so it doesn't matter if they choose to take a light or dark piece. After choosing a piece, that player will give it to their opponent. Their opponent will then place the piece they were given anywhere on one of the circle spaces on the game board. Once again, make sure to place the piece face up. So if it has a hollow center, make sure the hollow part is facing up. After a player places the piece given to them by their opponent, they will choose any one piece from the side of the game board to give to the other player. And the other player will place that piece on any empty circle on the game board. This method of taking turns choosing one piece for your opponent to place on the game board will continue throughout the game until a winner is established. The object of the game of Quarto is to make a line of 4 pieces with a common feature. For example, these 4 pieces are all light colored. These 4 pieces are all dark colored. These 4 pieces are all short. These 4 pieces are all tall. These 4 pieces all have a round shape. These 4 are all square-shaped. These 4 all have solid tops. And these 4 all have hollow tops. If you place a piece on the game board given to you by your opponent, and the piece you just placed creates a row of 4 pieces with a characteristic in common, immediately say Quarto, and you have just won the game. For example, here the player just placed this piece, and they can call Quarto because they just made a line of 4 pieces with a solid top. Because there are so many different ways to match 4 pieces in a row, it can be easy to miss that you just created a Quarto. So if you place a piece and fail to notice to call out Quarto on your turn, your opponent may call out the Quarto you missed calling on their next turn. For example, let's say player 1 missed the fact that they just created a Quarto when they placed this piece. After ending their turn, they would select a piece for their opponent. Their opponent could then immediately call out the Quarto that they missed calling and win the game. Because there are so many different ways to create a matching line of 4, it is possible for both players to miss a chance to call out a Quarto just created. So if player 1 had placed this piece and missed the fact that they had just created a Quarto with all solid tops, and the next player had missed the Quarto as well and placed the piece given to them by their opponent, this Quarto would be lost and could no longer be called out for a win. If all of the pieces are placed on the game board during the game, and no player has successfully called out a Quarto, the game ends in a tie, and no winner is declared. It should be noted that players can adjust the game difficulty by varying what characteristics can be used to create a Quarto. Beginners to the game may want to choose only a few characteristics to match during their first few games. For example, they may only choose to create a Quarto using 4 light-colored pieces or 4 dark-colored pieces, and disregard all of the other characteristics.